Welcome back, Duelist. Casual Duelist here, and today I've got kind of a weird deck for you, and the only thing that makes it weird, and I'm actually going to do a series of 3 like this, is I'm going to build one deck in Speed Duel, and I'm going to show you guys 2 skills to use with the same build. Part of it is I want to get through Battle City a little bit faster, because I think that I wanted to be done with that a little bit sooner so I could get into building what I think are more technique-based decks. But I still wanted to showcase a good majority of the skill cards that I had left over. And this cuts me down from 10 to like 7 decks. So honestly, I enjoyed a little bit better. Again, congrats to those guys those viewers that won the giveaway. Again, if you guys want to, have a chance at some free cards, once a week I pick 2 people. All you gotta do is leave a comment down in that comment section. But let's get you guys a deck profile real quick. So I'm using 2 skills. Take your pick, or do what you can do. You can play one in main game, and then actually sideboard the second one. So now the skill card I use more often when building or playing this trap-based build is Guardians of the Tomb. However, Endless Traps still works. So we'll get to those here in a little bit. We're going to skip straight to spells because I didn't bother putting any regular monsters into this deck because of trap monsters. And another big thing before we go any further, Master Rule 5, I think it was April 1st, 2020. Probably one of the only good things to come out of 2020 for Yu-Gi-Oh! The ruling on trap monsters used to be that the trap would activate, then move forward when it was special summoned, but it would still be considered in both zones at the same time. As of Master Rule 5, when the trap monster says it is special summoned, it's no longer tied to your back row, which is hugely important for a deck like this, and is just something I just wanted to clarify before I went any further. So let's get you the rest of that like I promised. 3 Books of Moon. We're going to be running 2 copies Cosmic Cyclone. We are going to be running 2 copies Nobleman of Extermination today. We are going to be running 2 copies of Offerings to the Doomed. We are going to be running 3 of our Trap Monster Embodiment of Apophis. We are going to run 3 copies of the Swamp Mirror. We are going to run 2 copies of Widespread Ruin. And we are going to run 3 copies of Zoma the Spirit. Again, if you wanted to sideboard in Waking the Dragon, again, get the 5 to 6 cards. Make yourself a nice pretty little stack of fusion monsters. Pardon me. And keep that off to the side and just kind of mess with the opponent's head just a tiny bit. If you guys were here just for this deck list, thank you for watching. I hope that we'll catch you guys next time. If you enjoyed it and you haven't already, consider a subscription. Definitely go tell your friends. Class is dismissed. You guys have a great day. Everybody else, let's talk about the skill cards first, okay? So first, we're going to go with my favorite, the Guardians of the Tomb. This is like my grade A pick 1, and I don't know why this camera's having such a hard time focusing today. But it's been a rough year for him. So this skill card, during the opponent's main phase, when a monster is special summoned from your spell trap zone to your field, while you have no cards in your hand, you may draw a card, and then if you do, you may set 1 spell or trap from the hand. This can be used once per turn. This is my favorite. This is one of the reasons I play Offerings to the Doomed. And again, this is set your monster. And since our trap monsters no longer inhabit the back row at the same time as inhabiting the front row, we get a little more technique play out of it. And this is, you can use this every turn if you actually wanted to, or if you were eligible to. Endless Traps, however, has some unique flair to itself. This one says if you have exactly 3 traps in your graveyard. Now remember, exactly is exactly, and the best part about this is skill cards are unaffected and start like in their own little commander zone or whatever. So it's not like you got to worry about drawing endless traps and then also having exactly 3. But as long as you have exactly 3 traps in the graveyard, you basically want to shuffle all 3 of them face down. 1 goes to your hand, 1 goes back into your deck, and the other one is banished. Now, it doesn't say face up, face down, so I'm going to assume it's a face up banishment. So your opponent gets kind of a 50-50 guess on what else went where. But this is a skill that's only usable once per duel, as if that'll focus, there it goes. So again, Guardians of the Tomb is my favored skill here. And so let's just put Odion over there to the side. Now let's roll up the sleeves, get into the rest of this build. First off, Book of Moon is still going to stop a lot of motions against you. And one of the crazy ones that's going to happen, guys, is Jinzo. Jinzo is everywhere right now. This is more of a bandage. Unfortunately, Jinzo will wreck your deck, which is why I wanted to play him and Esperoba in the same week. As this build with Odion is more like a clash. I wanted two things that shouldn't exist against each other. Traps versus anti-traps. And Book of Moon, while it will put Jinzo back face down, any trap monster will actually move back to the back row and remain face up as a wasted continuous. However, if your opponent hits your monster with Book of Moon, not only will the spell trap move back to the back row, it can be reactivated. So a couple of interesting Book of Moon rulings there. Again, Cosmic Cyclone, we want to make sure that we're going after our opponent and not getting hit by their own traps. We do want the double Nobleman of Crossout. If you've got the space in your build, and again, since our traps are our monsters and we've got 9 of them, I feel like that is a good enough ratio, especially when you have Guardians of the Tomb allowing you for some extra draw power. Nobleman of Crossout, very good. Stop the stall and break the wall. Let's go. So Offerings to the Doomed, another great thing that we could do against top tier characters like Jinzo or anything else that would be considered Monarch level. Or potentially, guys, they special summon something themselves. You can Offerings to the Doom it, and then maybe prevent the tribute summon from ever happening. This way Jinzo doesn't nullify out the utility of your trap monsters. Now, the drawback, the downside to Offerings to the Doomed is it's only a face-up monster, and you also have to skip your next draw phase. However, again, Guardians of the Tomb allowing for that extra draw during the opponent's turn may not be an issue, and during playtesting, played well. Moving over to the very, very trap-heavy side, we're going to be using Embodiment of Apophis. Literally, he's just stats. He's a level 4 normal Earth Reptile when it's a monster. It is 16 by 18. And again, this is always going to be considered a trap. Now, what that means is the opponent has, let's say, Cosmic Cyclone. They can pay 1,000 life points to banish this. That's fine. They could, if MST was around, they could pay the 500 for Twister. They could use Dust Tornado to break it. They could use Breaker to break it. So that's why we need to be aware of the offerings and the Books of Moon, and that's why we need all that other tech support. So those are all rulings that will happen. Now, our next character will be Swamp Mirror, and he's a little more offensive. You give him his monster typing and attribute, you pick it, and he will be 1,800 by 1,000. Again, still always a trap, still has a bit of weakness to him, and that is fine. So we'll put those there. We do have the Widespread Ruins. I've been looking for an excuse to play them, and I was like, look, I can play the Adhesion Trap Holes and just keep doing the same thing. Or we could let our opponent actually think they're going to get the attack, because again, I'm not worried about Jinzo in this build. So let's use the Widespread Ruin, and let's watch them pop off their biggest monster. And again, with Inner Conflict being out there, Widespread Ruin might be able to save you. But that's essentially the reason for our last at-bat. That is Zoma the Spirit. Now, he is perfect against Inner Conflict decks. And what it really boils down to is the fact that they have to pay half their life points to take one of your monsters. They have to try to, clear the board before they try to go for game, or else they risk it. And if they risk it and Zoma's is on the set, we can flip it. It gets special summoned. If it's destroyed by battle, inflict damage to the opponent equal to the attack of the monster that destroyed it. I'll wait till you're at the game stroke with the larger monster, usually a Monarch level character like Grand Marg or Kaiser Glider is very popular as well. Obviously, I'm not worried about Yujinzo. Yujinzo got Book of Moon a minute ago, so Zoma will be able to deal you the killing stroke. Of course, unless you decide to call off your attack and let me play the next turn. And that might not work out too well either. So, Zoma, he does get summoned, I believe it was Defense. Yeah, Defense is an effect monster, Zombie Dark, level 4, 18 by 5. It does encourage him to get destroyed. So, that is that. And again, this deck, I prefer it with Guardians of the Tomb, plays just fine with Endless Traps. If you are playing a format that allows you to play 2 skills at a time, they pair off actually very well together, as you would expect, since they are, of course, both Odion. But that is my one and done for the trap decks. I do want to bring you guys the Esparoba, and I want to, I do have them sitting right here. I want to bring the It's Jinzo Psychic Duelist deck to life, and something that I don't quite have built yet was requested a Dark World deck for the Masterclass, and I am more than happy to do this because it just sounds amusing as all get out. So I've got a little bit of work to do. Obviously, if you guys want to be entered to win some free cards, just leave some comments. That's all you got to do. I will generally be picking from comments on videos of the week that I'm selecting. So yesterday's video where I did the... Wow, could you believe I forgot what yesterday's video was? The desk bots, holy crud. And today's video is obviously, they're both available. Any comments on both of those will automatically enter you, anything through probably Saturday. But I do have some deck developing to do. You guys have an excellent day. I'm going to get back to work. See you later.